In this episode of American Greed, the hunt for a high-flying businessman playing a very dangerous game.
He did have a wild couple of years.
T.R. Wright III presents himself as a globe-trotting deal-maker with style to burn.
Being on fire, there's nothing like that.
Frequently posing for photos with his sports cars, yachts, and jets.
It was almost like made for Instagram.
But something odd keeps happening to all his fancy toys. They tend to crash, sink, even blow right up.
Everybody who watched this video thought that the individual was either dead or severely, severely burned.
Are these accidents proof of plain old bad luck, or a money-making scheme almost too wild to believe? To find out, American Greed tracks down the key players, the relentless investigator.
And at that point, we start to realize this is a total scam.
The co-conspirator.
He didn't care about anybody or anything.
And in a television exclusive from federal prison, the ringleader himself, who explains what it all adds up to.
Insurance fraud.
Inside a Texas prison, a once jet-setting criminal named T.R. Wright bides his time. He's never given a TV interview about the audacious scheme that landed him here. But in January 2021, he calls American Greed to make one thing clear. He's not a typical subject for the show.
I really don't care about money. I mean, people, they want to perceive me to be this greedy, money-grubbing, fraud-loving, screw anybody, anywhere type of guy, and that's not the case.
No. Wright says that with his scheme, another factor was at play.
I mean, there's just a certain amount of thrill to it, I guess. I mean, maybe it's my personality, maybe I'm nuts, I don't know.
More than 6 years earlier, 360 miles due east, someone else is making a phone call. Early on a September morning, it's a police dispatcher trying to raise a local detective.
Hello?
Dawn,
Yes?
I need a detective to go to the airport.
What's up there?
We got a burnt plane.
A burnt plane.
Mm-hmm. Got burnt sometime during the night. Nobody knew about it.
When investigators head to the tiny municipal airport in Athens, Texas, they find a Cessna Citation jet that's been permanently grounded. Though its tail number, N18FM, is clearly visible, its door is charred and blown clear off. Paint on its exterior has bubbled up from the heat. Its controls are all but gone. And what was once a luxurious cockpit with 7 leather seats and a bar is now just a pile of ash. Before long, Agent James Reed from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives in Tyler, Texas, is on his way to investigate.
I just graduated the ATF Academy, had been an ATF agent in the field for just a couple months, still technically on training status. I really had only worked a handful of cases, very small cases at that time.
After making the 45-minute drive, even this rookie can tell that something is amiss here in Athens, the black-eyed pea capital of the world.
From day one, we know it's an arson. We're trying to really figure out at this point, is it, what kind of arson it is. Because in typical arson, some of the more common things you see are, young kids who are doing vandalism type activities, or serial arsonists, people who just burn things to burn them down.
As he begins his hunt for the responsible party, Reed quickly zeroes in on some very grainy surveillance footage taken the night N18FM was set ablaze.
So we see N18FM parked on the jetway. An individual cloaked in the darkness behind the plane walks in front of the plane, comes over, opens the cabin door, shuts it for just a second, opens it up, and you see this tiny spark in one frame of the video. Then immediately, a giant fireball that engulfs the individual. The individual then stumbles from the ground around the wing of the plane, looks like he's on fire, and heads off into the wooded area behind the plane. Everybody who watched this video thought that the individual was either dead or severely, severely burned. So we immediately started searching the area for a dead body in the woods, burn centers for someone who's severely burnt, or even morgues for an individual who came in with massive burn wounds.
This early search for a dead or wounded arsonist turns up no leads, and Reed attempts to learn more about the mysterious jet. 5 months earlier, the plane had been registered to a corporation in Montana called Plaisir en vol, French for pleasure in flight. A few weeks before its destruction, an out-of-town pilot dropped it off, saying its owners would soon be coming here from France to pick it up.
Doesn't make any sense to me why individuals from France are going to fly to Athens, Texas to get this plane and not go to Dallas or Houston.
Reed also learns the name of the pilot who left the jet in Athens, Theodore Robert Wright, known to many as T.R. Wright III. And when a local fire marshal talks to him on his satellite phone, Wright makes it clear that he only flew the jet to Athens. He says its owners are in France and that they are confused about what's happened to their aircraft.
They heard that somebody got in the plane, inside the plane, and like tried to start a fire, like a campfire or something. And it was unclear if it was vandalism or if it was just, you know, like punks having, like they have no idea what it was. So
Yeah, I mean, so that's what we're investigating and everything. And I get
and I understand if you can't tell me. I mean, I'm just a pilot.
Intent on learning more, Agent Reed continues to ask questions of the small crew of aviation aficionados who spend time at the Athens airfield. That search quickly brings him to the proprietor of Dyson Aviation.
We typically ask people, hey, if you see anything suspicious? And usually, you know, the answer is no, or, you know, something. And he looks and says, as a matter of fact, I have.
Carol Dyson works at Athens Airfield, helping pilots who need to fuel up or take a break. He's as much a fixture there as the red oak that towers over his hangar.
I'm out here almost every day except Sunday morning. I go to church on Sunday morning, but I'm out here Sunday evenings. And I keep track of the aircraft that come and go by writing their registration numbers down.
With his eyes always open, Dyson noticed the Cessna Citation when it first arrived.
It just set. And that was kind of raised eyebrows, but then I thought, well, it's somebody hiding it out to keep from paying taxes, and that don't bother me. They, you know, if they want to do it, that's fine.
And he noticed another plane around that time, too.
I came in about 4:30 in the morning, and as I turned in here, my light swept the hangar over there, those two big yellow hangars, and I saw an airplane pulled up in front of that second one. And that's unusual because it wasn't an airplane that's based here. And I thought then, uh-oh, something's up with those guys. Well, I thought then they might be in the dope business or something. I didn't know what they were doing. I just knew it wasn't right.
Dyson jots down the tail number on the small Beechcraft Bonanza he spots, N273, and files it away like he always does. A few days later, he pulls up to the airport and spots smoke and the burnt jet.
I started putting two and two together, and I was thinking, well, now I know why the guy was coming in here. They were hired to burn that airplane up.
When Agent Reed comes calling, Dyson tells him the story and gives him the tail number of the suspicious plane he spotted, N273. Reed checks it out with a special agent from the Federal Aviation Administration.